Hello and good morning. This is Tara at the Koski cabin. This beautiful sauna that my Uncle Roger built and finished August 26th of 1985. 34 years, a testament to his building prowess and also to cedar wood, but it did need a little bit of work. So last August, I got Clorox the algae. There was quite a bit of algae green at the bottom, and I got that off. It actually didn't turn like nice white wood till this trip, so I was surprised to see it had worked. Basically, then we wire brushed all of these wood pieces along with the upper wood pieces. Wire brushed them, and I learned that doing it against the grain, of course this is rough cedar on the outside, against the grain took the most amount of the mildew, molds, and whatever, little bit of that wood that had deteriorated. And then I coated this with a preservative that has a little bit of a cedar cast to it. There had been some porcupine digging because this wood sled that my Uncle Raj used to use was propped up against here, and it kind of let the porcupine get up on it. We also had a mouse nest between the chimney and the outside logs, and also between the fireboard on the inside and the inside walls. We had a big hole up at the top, and there was a piece of trim board here, and a lot of rot is behind this wood here, this plastic wood that I used. But we coated that, kind of fixed this chimney, put some caulk, that's a Flex Seal caulk, and also the chimney at the top had some cracks, letting water go down. So I caulked them with a cement caulk, and also around this bottom. These boards were green. I should actually put a little more. I was waiting for them to dry, but put some cedar coat on them and fixed up, re-caulked up by that flashing up there so it wouldn't keep damaging this joist up there. So that's what happened to the sauna. From now, I'll put a link in this video to the product from Heiss that we used. The gentleman recommended it for me. It's not a stain, it's not a paint, it's really a protective. It protects against UV light, it protects against moisture, etc. And I don't think the animals like it, I'm hoping. We did the whole cabin. My sister Mara helped a lot. So did my dad. Next year, we plan to replace the piping, the chimney on the inside of the wood stove, which goes up into this really nice concrete chimney, and then we're going to take this post, which is helping to support the chimney, and we're going to cut that off at the bottom because it's starting to rot a little bit, and put a block underneath it, plain and simple. There was some mouse chew at the edges. I'd seen that they had put some metal plates to avoid that, but the mice had gotten in and chewed the flooring, so I put a little bit of wood filler where they had chewed, and I think next time we're going to have to address that with some mesh, wire mesh, and I'm going to put some wire mesh so that animals and such can't get up into the roof above, because it's not an A-frame inside, it's a normal ceiling, so there's a hole up there, and I want to make sure we put some wire mesh on that, which will make sure those animals don't come inside. I don't think there's a whole lot more to say about the sauna, except we took a couple really nice saunas, and we did clean out all the mouse fracas. Their home is probably pretty flammable, and it was behind the behind the fireboard by the wood stove inside, and of course outside. So scraped all that out. Happened to find this nice piece of metal to scrape behind the chimney, and I actually did find, I think I killed a mouse by mistake with that long metal piece that allowed me to get behind the chimney and clean all that fracas out. And I did pull out a mouse, and he was slightly alive. I felt bad, but that is the way it happened. This was a cover plate. Probably there had been another maybe hole from an animal, and I just caulked that so that you didn't get any moisture behind it. I left the bottoms, of course, of everything go so that if any water did come in, it would drain. And then this window needed a little bit of glazing, and I'm not a, you know, at some point we'll take this out and take it down to a Menards and have them actually re-glaze the whole thing, but for now it's done and it's in much better shape than it was, which is, you know, it's a matter of preserving this beautiful building that Raj built, and we've had so many saunas and so much fun in it, shrieking with the cold water, and now it's a matter of preserving a lot of this beauty so that we can continue to use it. And I think that's been my goal at the cabin lately, is preserving what is here. And I have ideas for the future, but adding will be later. So that's tons of wood still left in the old woodshed that Uncle Raj built. It's leaning. A couple of years that's going to have to be pulled upright, I would imagine. But that was good. I think that's about all we did on the sauna, but it was quite a task. But it was a lot of fun, and I think we've got some more time now out of the outside boards. My Uncle Roger would have said, just let them go, and I'll get a tree and cut some new timber for that. Whereas for us to buy that cedar would just be inordinately expensive. So it's really nice that we are able to preserve it, because he had, I think, a cousin who cut out logs for him. And I think the outside logs were cut out, I'm sure, by trees that he had or procured. Cedar is a long-lasting wood. I think the oils in it for many, many years make it resistant to insects and rodents and such. But, you know, at 34 years, I think it needs a little bit of treatment. And we have locust wood in upstate New York where I live. Up here it's cedar. Both of them are super long-lasting. We've seen fence posts last 30 years, so pretty amazing. This sauna, what my Uncle Raj did, we sure do miss him. And I'm going to probably, shall I go on with this video if it keeps going? Sure. Because I'll just say what else we did. The well is super high. There was a lot of rain. The grass is green, unlike in August when it was not green at all. Had tons of rain while we've been here. Also tons of sun. And that's the spruce that Dave and I and the kids cut this summer. This is the spruce we cut in July that had fallen down of 2017, and then there were two small ones that fell right on the edge of the yard, thank God. We did look under this crawl space. Hi, little pup. We have a new puppy. I take it maybe Brenda's coming down. We did check out underneath the cabin regarding the floor. There's enough space to easily work down there. Probably a good 4 foot of space, but we can't enter it now. We're going to have to chip out some concrete and such, and that's another day. Basically needs cross hatches if we keep the beams, and it needs some shimming where the logs meet the subfloor. So that's what we saw. The problem with the bouncing floor is really, I'm sure the logs have shrunk, turned, rolled a little bit, and are not meeting the subfloor. And so that needs to be shimmed in, and we need cross beaches because 3 foot apart is just too high. We did put 70 pounds in the propane. Thankfully, Brenda helped us with all of that. Experimented with the solar, which worked amazingly well. I think next time we're going to put it up high on the cabin. Still probably temporary remove it. We're going to put it up in the attic. And we entered that up high by the door here so that you can charge your phone now, which is really nice. Built a lot of fires. Yes, built a lot of fires. Put our coffee grounds on the garden of Aunt Jones. And trying to think what else we did here. I think we have to go inside now. But it's a gorgeous day to leave on. We had a beautiful red sunset last night. I mean, just look at this. It's gorgeous. The leaves have been beautiful. They say past prime, but the leaves have been gorgeous. We have a little dog visiting us. Hi, little Poochie. Hey, Poochie Pooch. Poochie Pooch Pooch. I'm guessing that's Brenda's dog. I do not know. But we are packing and cleaning up now. I did finish the stringers on this front porch. If I have time, I'm going to put that another coat of cedar on top of the stairs. Just makes a nicer coating. It makes quite a hard coat. I'm really happy about it. I went along the board at the bottom and finished the stringers, of course, and did a little extra on this post and minor things like that. The only other thing, the cabin is not mopped yet, but it is about ready to be mopped. It's in pretty good shape. The one thing I did do inside of here, well, other than having a couple really bright solar lights, we didn't hang them perfectly yet, but they are really bright LEDs and they run for a long time off the battery. We can charge our cell phone. We brought that wire in. We decided to bring it in over here. We'll ultimately put a shelf under here for cell phones and such because we have 2 USB ports and 3 ports for lights, but I think we can actually splice that wire together and move these switches. The hard part was that the switches are near the light, so we kind of kept them hanging to use the lights, but now we don't have to fire up those gas lights, which they've been in there a long time, and we're pretty happy to be using some solar power to power some stuff here, and it worked awesomely. It was a kit from Harbor Freight. I will try to find the kit and put it on this video as well. We did not run the generator. The only other thing I did here, very minor, these beautiful steps didn't have any kind of a coating on them of anything. So the dirt, as you walked up them, would just get ground into the wood. So I sanded a bit of the dirt off and just put a nice coat. It brings out the grain. You can see that one's done. It's just a matte. You wouldn't even be able to tell I did anything, but it will let us wash these with water and the surface will now be sealed. You can see a little bit of difference. 1, 2, 3, 4. I did 5 stairs so far. This is the grain of the one that's treated, and this is the grain of the one that's not. So basically, those finishes bring out the grain, but there's no difference. Had I not shown this video, you'd never know the difference that I even did them. And then I think another time I'll do under the steps just so any smoke or anything doesn't get. That's pretty minor. Brought the curtains back that I washed. I had to dye the curtains. I dyed them blue. Minor deal. Hung all our sleeping bags up. Brought an extra one to keep up here. I think that's all we've done at the cabin this trip. We did get to the lake. My mom even walked to the lake, and there's probably some pictures of that. She walked on Sunday with my sister and I and my dad, and my sister left a bit early. Dell did eat a little bit of decon. Had to go to the vet and have its stomach pumped, so you do need to, if you have a dog, pick up the decon. I saw some empty ashtrays, which, empty ashtrays meant no decon in the ashtrays, so we were able to get to her before the problem became any worse than it was. Yeah, and I think that's it. We just have to close up now, mop up, get the rest packed, get our solar system in, which will be kept. The solar system will be kept upstairs. We also bought a ladder, a 16-foot, very light aluminum, 200-pound ladder. It's important. That's 200 pounds, so if you're more than that, you might not want to be on it. But it's nice and lightweight aluminum, and that'll help me get my next visit. I'll get up to the top 1, 2, 3 logs that I couldn't quite reach last time with the caulk, which I did in August of 2018. But it needs those top 3 logs done. That'll help keep the wasps and insects and all that good stuff out. So I will work on that next year. We did climb up to the chimney and checked out the chimney on top of the roof, but that chimney is, at some point, it should be an 8-inch pipe probably. It now goes from 6 to 8 at the bottom, and we're thinking it might be good to run 8 triple walled all the way up at some point. No hurry on that, but that's the plan. That is the plan. And probably next year 2 new windows, or 4 new windows in total, but 2 new windows in the upstairs, so you get a cross draft and we can actually open those windows. So put a couple double paned up there, and I think that's our total plan. All right, well, I'm going to find out whose dog this is. Anyone who's listened, thanks for listening. This is a very nice place up north that we all love. I've had, I guess, 3 or 4 trips to the lake, and I'm hoping today, if I get everything cleaned in time, I can take a final trip to the lake, and then we're going to go see my Aunt Joan on our way out of town. So, thanks for listening. We did do some shoveling. I will mention this just because when it really rains a lot, this grass allows the water to push onto the porch, so I did dig a little bit along this front patio, minor deal, so the rain will actually soak in the ground and not roll onto the porch. We did a minor amount of mowing. Brenda does a great job keeping this place mowed, but it's been a lot of rain, so we chopped some leaves up. Not a big deal. We didn't get to chainsaw much. Probably the driveway needs a teeny bit of work, but it's looking really good. Got another little job out in the outhouse next time I come. Just putting the plywood on the edges up. That will be good to replace them because they are a little bit worn and torn. But yeah, just a gorgeous day, and we're just really thankful that we get all this time to spend up here. I can hear the lake waves crashing. I still have it in my head I'm going to make it down there today, but it's not looking good. I think my dad might have gone down there, but good for him. So here we are. Thanks so much. It's a long video, and thanks for listening.